Have you ever pondered why some individuals wield more influence than others? It's a question that has puzzled many. We often assume that the key to influence lies in eloquence, the ability to speak persuasively and compellingly. We look at great orators, charismatic leaders, and smooth talkers, and we think, that's it, that's the secret. If only I could speak like them, I could wield the same influence. But what if that's not the case? What if we've been focusing on the wrong skill? What if the real secret to influence isn't about speaking at all? Imagine a world where influence doesn't come from the loudest voice in the room, but from the most attentive ear. A world where the key to power lies not in saying the right things, but in hearing the right things. What if we told you that the secret to influence lies not in speaking, but in listening? Listening, it turns out, is an art that some of the most influential people in history have mastered. Active listening is so much more than just hearing. It's about fully engaging with the speaker, using verbal and nonverbal cues to show understanding and responding in a way that encourages further communication. It's about being present, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. And it's about showing respect for the speaker's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Active listening is essential in all aspects of life, from personal relationships to professional interactions. It's a powerful tool for building trust, resolving conflicts, and fostering deeper connections. And when done right, it can transform mere conversations into meaningful exchanges of ideas and learning. Now, think about some of the most influential figures in history. What do they all have in common? They were all great listeners. Consider Mahatma Gandhi, for instance. His ability to listen to the concerns of his people, to empathize with their struggles, and to articulate their aspirations in a powerful and persuasive manner played a pivotal role in India's struggle for independence. Or take Nelson Mandela. Despite spending 27 years in prison, he never lost his ability to listen. He listened to his captors, his fellow prisoners, and the people of South Africa. And through his attentive listening, he was able to understand their fears, concerns, and hopes, and to lead his country towards reconciliation and unity. And then there's Martin Luther King Jr. His powerful speeches, such as "I Have a Dream," were not just products of his incredible oratory skills, but also his deep understanding of the people he was speaking for. An understanding that was cultivated through attentive and empathetic listening. These individuals, through their attentive listening, were able to influence millions. And that, my friends, is the true power of active listening. It's not just about hearing, but about understanding, empathizing, and responding. It's about making the speaker feel heard, valued, and respected. And it's about turning conversations into opportunities for learning, growth, and change. Listening, it turns out, is an art that some of the most influential people in history have mastered, and so can you. These individuals, through their attentive listening, were able to influence millions. But how does good listening translate into influence? Let's delve into the heart of this question. When we feel truly heard and understood, an almost magical transformation occurs within us. It's as if a switch flips in our minds, shedding light on a previously darkened room. This feeling of being seen, heard, and valued for who we are and what we believe is a potent psychological catalyst. It fosters a sense of connection, making us feel part of a larger whole. Good listeners have the power to create this transformative experience. They don't merely hear the words that are spoken. They listen with their hearts, their minds, their entire being. They seek to understand, not just the content of the words, but the emotions, the fears, the dreams, and the aspirations that lie beneath the surface. In doing so, they build a bridge of understanding, a conduit that allows for the free flow of ideas and emotions. This bridge is built on the pillars of trust, empathy, and rapport. Trust because good listeners demonstrate a willingness to accept and value the speaker's perspective. Empathy because they show a genuine desire to understand the speaker's feelings and experiences. And rapport because the speaker feels a sense of connection and comfort in their presence. These three pillars form a sturdy foundation for influence. When we trust someone, we are more likely to accept their ideas and suggestions. When we feel empathy from someone, we are more likely to be open to their perspectives. And when we feel a sense of rapport with someone, we are more likely to be influenced by their actions and attitudes. This is the subtle yet powerful impact of good listening. It is not about manipulation or control. It's about creating an environment of understanding and respect where ideas can be shared freely and influence can flow naturally. In essence, good listening paves the way for greater influence. So, How can one cultivate the art of listening, you might ask? Well, it's not as complicated as it might sound, it just requires a bit of patience and some practice. Let's start with maintaining eye contact. This is a powerful tool that shows respect and interest in what the other person is saying. It helps you stay focused on the conversation and gives a signal to the speaker that you are engaged. But remember, there's a fine line between maintaining eye contact and staring. The idea is to make the other person comfortable, not uncomfortable. Next, avoid interruptions. This might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many conversations get derailed by someone jumping in with their own thoughts or experiences. Remember, when you're listening, your job is to absorb information, not to share your own. If you have something to say, wait for a natural pause in the conversation, or ask if you can interject. This shows respect for the speaker and allows them to fully express their thoughts. Now let's talk about reflecting back what you've heard. This is a simple technique that can have a huge impact on your listening skills. After the speaker has shared their thoughts, take a moment to summarize or paraphrase what they've said. This not only shows that you've been paying attention, but it also gives the speaker a chance to clarify any points that may have been misunderstood. It's a win-win situation. Another tip is to ask open-ended questions. This encourages the speaker to share more about their perspective, and it shows that you're interested in understanding them better. Instead of asking yes or no questions, try asking questions that start with how, what, why, or could you tell me more about? Last but not least, practice active listening. This involves fully focusing on the speaker, avoiding distractions, and responding appropriately. Show empathy and understanding, and remember to keep your body language open and inviting. By perfecting these techniques, you too can become a master listener. This doesn't happen overnight, but with time and practice, you will notice a significant improvement in your ability to connect with others and influence them in a positive way. Remember, the power of listening extends beyond just personal influence. Imagine a world where everyone is talking, yet nobody is listening. It's not hard to picture, is it? We live in a society where everyone wants to share their thoughts, opinions, and experiences. But what happens when we stop to listen? Listening, true listening, has the power to transform our relationships. It helps us understand each other better, fostering a deeper connection. When we truly listen to someone, we're not just hearing their words. We're understanding their emotions, their experiences, their perspectives. This understanding can lead to empathy, compassion, and ultimately, stronger relationships. But the power of listening goes beyond just our personal relationships. It has the potential to influence the very fabric of our society. Listening can be a powerful tool in resolving conflicts, both big and small. When we listen to understand rather than to respond, we can find common ground, solutions that benefit everyone involved. Think about it. In a heated argument, if both parties are simply waiting for their turn to speak, they're not truly considering the other person's perspective. But when we listen, really listen, we open our minds to new ideas, new possibilities. We can start to see things from the other person's perspective, and that's when we find solutions that work for everyone. Listening also promotes societal harmony. When we listen to each other, we foster understanding and acceptance. We learn to appreciate our differences rather than fear them. We become more tolerant, more accepting, more compassionate. And isn't that the kind of society we all want to live in? As we wrap up this discussion, let's remember the power of listening. It's not just about hearing words, it's about understanding, empathizing, and connecting. It's about resolving conflicts and promoting harmony. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, take a moment to truly listen. You might be surprised by what you learn, by the connections you make, and by the influence you have. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, be the one who listens. So, let's recall what we've learned today. We dove into the art of listening, exploring its nuances and understanding its impact. We realized that good listening isn't merely about being silent when someone else is speaking, but it's about genuine engagement, empathy, and comprehension. We've seen how good listening can profoundly impact our interactions, fostering deeper connections and fostering trust. It's not just about hearing words, but also about interpreting the unspoken emotions and thoughts that lie beneath. We discussed practical ways to cultivate our listening skills, from being present in the moment to encouraging others to express themselves. And we saw how these skills can empower us, giving us the ability to influence others more effectively. The power of listening lies not just in understanding others, but also in allowing ourselves to be influenced by their perspectives. Because in the end, the most influential person in the room isn't the one who talks the most, but the one who listens the most.